Some point in time, our actions are our own. We can no longer blame it on the rough childhood we had, because a lot of people had a rough childhood. A lot of people had parents that were not in their lives.
Welcome to the Court of Justice.
Court is calling 2020 CR 6408, State of Texas versus Fabian Vega. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garahan, Your Honor.
Defense.
Eduardo Jimenez, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Vega?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you entered a plea of no contest on February 21st to the offense of murder. You entered a plea of true to the enhancement. The court found the enhancement true based upon your plea of true to the enhancements in States Exhibits 1 and attachments. And the court found there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court found you guilty. According to your plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 25 years in the prison. There's an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon, and the state is taking consideration 2020 CR 6409, night mag number 686664, county court cause number 674688. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, we have, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report, state?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, state, any witness?
And here comes a classic defense move, bringing in someone close to humanize the defendant. Brenda Torres, his wife, isn't here to argue the facts of the crime. She's here to reshape how the judge feels about Fabian Vega. Notice the focus: family, love, a child, emotional connection. This is about building a narrative. He's not just a defendant. He's a father, a partner, a person worth saving. But here's where it gets complicated. How much weight should emotional testimony carry when the crime itself is this serious?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any witnesses?
Yes, one witness, Your Honor.
All right, call your witness.
The defense would call Brenda Torres.
Brenda Torres, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm gonna need you to keep your voice up so that the court reporter can hear and I can hear. All right, if you can state your name for the record and spell it.
Brenda Torres.
And spell it.
Brenda Torres, Torres.
All right, and sometimes I ask for people to spell their name so that they can practice keeping their voice up, and so I can test whether or not the court reporter can hear. All right, defense.
Ms. Torres, what is your relationship to the defendant?
His wife.
Be speaking
His wife.
into the microphone, not to me. Okay,
The board.
his wife. Do you have a child together?
Yes, we do.
Such
I have a
child,
6-year-old son. His name is Xavier.
6-year-old son. What grade would that put him in?
He's in kindergarten. He's about to graduate next year.
Okay. How long have you known the defendant?
And that was 14.
And when was the child born? How many years thereafter was the child? 2 years later. And what separated you at that point from Mr. Vega?
He was in juvenile.
I'm sorry, I'm going to need you to speak up.
He was in juvenile.
Okay.
And so we were unable to be together. Unable to be together.
Okay, what kind of person did you know Mr. Vega to be at that time?
Very emotional, loving, and caring. And open-minded.
This moment might seem minor, but it actually reveals a lot. The judge isn't just correcting volume. She's reinforcing courtroom control and making sure every word counts on record. But look deeper. Brenda is clearly nervous, possibly overwhelmed. That hesitation can weaken the emotional impact the defense is trying to build. If the testimony doesn't come across clearly, it loses power. So think about it. Does her nervousness reflect the pressure of the courtroom or uncertainty about standing behind the defendant?
Okay, so here's the thing. You're going to have to speak up, and you need to talk the way you're talking to people if you're not in court, because nobody can hear you. And if I can't hear you, guess what? You might as well not testify, because then I won't be able to consider anything. So you're going to have to keep your voice raised. Do you see the level I'm at? That's the level you need to be. I know sometimes you're nervous, but if you want me to hear what you're saying, I can only hear it if you speak up. Okay?
How old are you now, Ms. Torres?
I'm 22.
You're 22,
Yes,
and you have a 6-year-old child.
I do.
Have you raised that child alone?
I have.
That's not an easy thing to do, is it?
No, it's not.
Is it easier to keep your voice up so everybody can hear you? All right, let's do that then. Okay, so you say you were separated from Mr. Vega at the point that you were pregnant because Mr. Vega, repeat what you said,
He
please.
was in juvenile at the time. That's when I was pregnant.
Were you ever reunited with Mr. Vega?
He came for a home visitation and we were together, but then after that, he turned himself in since he was for 4 years after that.
Okay. While he was in jail, did you have any communication or contact with Mr. Vega?
Yes, he talked on his phone and he's written me letters for all these years.
Without citing quotations from those conversations or those letters, how would you describe them in general?
Very emotional and loving, and I've never felt any less love than him after all these years. It's remained the same.
Did he ever bring up, for example, anything about his son?
Yes, I know he loves severe and we don't want to explain anything to him right now until he's old enough to understand.
So your son's 6 years old, but he doesn't know anything about his father?
No, he doesn't.
Does he know his father's name?
Doesn't.
When do you think you might be willing to share those things with your son? He's about 8? Okay. How often would you speak to Fabian or Mr. Vega rather, while he was in jail?
Recently it's been a lot lately, but before it was only the first 4 times a month. It really wasn't that often. It was very difficult to talk and not being able to be together.
Mhm.
It was just a lot of emotion there.
Okay. Did you
Now we're stepping into one of the most important elements in sentencing, remorse. The defense is trying to show that Vega has changed, that he regrets what happened, and that he deserves another chance. But here's the reality. Remorse after a crime doesn't undo the damage. Judges hear apologies every day. So the question becomes, is it genuine or strategic? And even if it's real, should it actually reduce a sentence when someone has lost their life?
did he ever express remorse for the
Yes, he's apologized sincerely. Still apologizes for not being able to be there, for his actions keeping him away from us. I've forgiven him.
what do you look forward to, if anything?
To coming home and being able to recreate the family that we started in the first place.
How do you care for your son as a single mother? Do you have a job, for example?
I do. I'm a manager at Whataburger. At Whataburger?
And are you this? Who cares for your? Well, he goes to school while you're at your work.
At work, yes.
Okay,
And then
All
it's not he's with his grandma,
with your grandmother or
my mom.
with your mom?
Mhm.
Okay. So your mom's been part of the child's life as well.
Yes, sir.
What does your mom think about Mr. Vega at some point reuniting with your family?
She's ready. She wants me to tell Xavier about him already so we can have contact. Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with the court before?
I'm just gonna say that it's hard to see who he is inside, but he's right in front of you, but he's still a person. He's still his dad and a father. And should deserve to come with us.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Any questions?
Just a couple questions, Your Honor. Ma'am, how old is your son?
6.
6. So he's born in 2017 or
2006.
2016. How much time did the defendant, Fabian Vega, spend with that son back then?
None, because he was in juvenile.
So none. And he's never seen him?
He's seen him.
Seen him. But he's participated in this 6-year-old, your son's life. How much?
None, because he's been in juvenile and in jail.
He's in juvenile in jail, but he was not in jail when he committed this murder.
Yes, I know.
Okay, so how much time did he spend with the son then?
He didn't.
Okay, thank you. No further questions, Your
All
Honor.
right, what's your son's last name?
Becca,
All right, thank you.
please.
Judge, we have. May I go?
Yes.
Okay.
Any further witnesses?
No further witnesses, Judge, just allocution from the defendant.
All right. He's going to be subject to cross-examination. I understand what allocution is, but if he wants to give his statement, he's going to be subject to cross-examination. He gave up the right to remain silent when he entered his plea.
All right, let me just check with him and then see what he says.
Okay.
Your Honor, he would like to allocute.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. State your name for the record.
Fabian Vega.
All right, defense.
I believe he just wants to share with the court a few brief words.
Yes, ma'am. I want to say that I know I took a lot that I can't get back, and I want to apologize to my victim's family for so much pain that I caused them and for their loss. And I regret everything I did. I feel remorse to them and stuff like that. I know I'm going to prison, and I would want to get myself right over there by getting my GED because I never finished high school. Take drug classes. I had a problem with drugs in the past, and take parenting classes to better myself to go home to be a good father to my son and just go home clean and just be positive out there and just don't find myself in no more of the situations like I'm in right now. And I ask that you show mercy on me, on the sentence. A wife and a son that need me out there, and I want to go back to them as fast as I can.
Any questions?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Vega, in your
Go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Vega, you stated in when you were asked about this incident here, you said that in here.
This is where the case takes a serious turn. The prosecution starts exposing inconsistencies, especially around the claim of self-defense. And legally, that's a big deal. You can't both deny intent and claim justification at the same time without raising red flags. Then comes the bigger issue. This wasn't just a single act. Vega fired into a park with multiple people around, hitting several individuals. That shifts the narrative from fear to recklessness. So ask yourself, does this look like a split-second reaction or a complete loss of control?
It says, my neighbors told me them where I was, my name, and that I had tattoos. I tried to fight it with self-defense. So are you saying this is self-defense?
No, sir.
Okay, but so that's wrong in here. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so did you lie in here?
No, me.
Excuse me?
No, sir.
But it says self-defense here.
I was in fear of my life at that moment. I've been shot at, but he seemed proud in the past, so it wasn't out of fear, I guess.
So do you feel that you had a right to kill that day?
No, sir. I feel like I should have handled the situation a lot like different. It was out of fear, I guess, like my reaction.
You know you didn't just you killed one individual, but then you shot 3 individuals that day. You do realize that, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that you were shooting into a park, Father Benavides Park. You're aware of that.
Yes, sir.
And there were people out there that you were randomly shooting at. You're aware of that.
Yes, sir.
And then you say a witness of yours backed out. Who was the witness?
My roommate, Caleb.
Caleb was willing to testify against you. You do realize that.
Yes, sir.
So how did he back out? Because he was going to tell the truth?
I don't know.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, anything else?
Mr. Vega, did you grow up your entire childhood with both your parents?
No, sir.
Can you please explain that to me?
I grew up on like CPS care, so I was never around my mom or dad, and I was always like I grew up having like a hard life. So I don't blame no one for my actions that I did. It's just I didn't grow up knowing right or wrong.
when you were when did CPS order you into care of a foster home?
Yes, sir.
And how was your experience with that foster family?
It was bad. Real bad.
You still keep in touch with that foster family?
No, sir.
You still keep in touch with your mother, your father regularly?
No, sir.
So when you go to prison, you said you're going to take parenting classes?
Yes, sir.
Why would you need to learn how to be a loving father?
I was never taught like how to be one. I never had that growing up, so I would like to learn. So when I go home, I could be one. That's my thing.
What about the drugs?
With the drugs as well. I plan on going down there and taking drug tests too as well. I had a bad drug problem growing up, and I would like to fix that before I do go home.
And why didn't you ever graduate high school?
I was always incarcerated and like not focused.
Well, what are you going to be focused on when you go to prison?
My GED.
Is it, you're just going to go to prison and they're going to hand you your GED?
No, sir. I'm gonna go to class and get my GED. My GED.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Anything else?
Nothing, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Vega, why does it take you going to prison for you to wake up and realize that you right what's right from wrong? I don't understand that. Like, why does it take going to prison for you to say, I'm going to get my GED, I'm going to be in my son's life, I'm going to be a good parent, I'm going to get off drugs? Because I'm looking at your history and you've been in trouble with the law as a juvenile since 2013. And it started with graffiti at a church or a school, and you were on deferred for that for 6 months. And I know, because I've toured their facilities, I know they give you an opportunity for your GED and for you to do all of that and get your life on track. And then you pick up another case in 2014. Then you are in need of supervision in 2015. And then you have a possession in 2015 and evading in 2015. And this, what I'm talking about, is just your juvenile history. And it goes on and on and on. 2016, 2017, all juvenile. And then you have this incident out of Waco, where I'm assuming you went to TYC. I know they don't call it TYC anymore, but you went there. And it appears that you didn't learn anything. And then now we're here for this. And how old are you?
This is the moment where everything comes together. The judge acknowledges his past, but makes it clear that it doesn't excuse his actions. The sentence is set at 25 years, and then comes the emotional blow, a 15-year no-contact order with his son. That means the child he says he wants to be there for will grow up without him by law. This case sends a powerful message. Opportunities were given, but choices were made. And now, the consequences are permanent. So what do you think? Was this justice, or should his past have mattered more? If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.
All right, you're 23, and I know what young people think because I was in your position. When people get sentenced to go to prison and they're young, they think it's the end of the world for them. But time goes by so quickly. I can't believe how quickly this year is passing. And you still have a chance to improve your life. Like, there's someone here who's dead. They're not, and I want you to think about this, they're not having graduations. If they were going to graduate, you can say, hey, that person was a horrible person too, or did horrible things. But guess what? They're not going to graduate. They're not going to see any grandchildren maybe they were going to have. They're not going to get a chance to improve themselves here on the planet because they're no longer with us. So there are many things that they won't be able to do. I don't understand why, if you have a child who's 6 years old, instead of doing this, why were you not spending as much time with them as you could? The witness tells me that you're very, very loving. Then a very loving person would be, I want to spend as much time with my son as I can because I've missed out so much on his life. I went through Child Protective Services, so I want to make sure my son doesn't go through that. I didn't have a good father, so I want to make sure my son has that. That's not so much about you knowing right from wrong. That's just like common. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. The court will hear argument. His cap is 25 years. State, I'm assuming you're asking for 25?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And defense?
Our defense is asking for mercy, and we're asking for that in a situation where there's been a death, a murder, and that life can't be brought back. So there's nothing we can say to change that fact. This young man, having growing up without a father and mother, there's nothing we can do to change that either. This young man making poor choices, not being around his son as his son was growing up, and being rather with people who are involved in drugs and guns. There's nothing we can say to change that either. But we have heard from him. He knows that this is pretty much his last chance to turn his life around. He doesn't want to spend the rest of his life in prison. So we are asking for mercy, Your Honor. He has explained what his plans and goals are to the court, being get his high school diploma so he can get a decent job out there, and take enough education and courses and therapy so that he's able to break his chains of addiction, Your Honor, and also learn to be a good parent to his son who's out there waiting for him, and his wife, Miss Brenda Torres, to be a good husband to his wife. We're asking for leniency from the court, full knowledge that we can't change the fact that we're dealing with a murder here, Your Honor.
All right. And Mr. Vega, I want you to know at some point in time, our actions are our own. We can no longer blame it on the rough childhood we had, because a lot of people had a rough childhood. A lot of people had parents that were not in their lives. Some people had parents who were in their lives and shouldn't have been in their lives. But I do take in consideration when I hear that, because as a defense attorney, I used to always get upset when the state would say, well, this person didn't commit a murder and they had a rough life. I want you to know I look at people as individuals. You understand? All right. So I'm going to sentence you to 25 years in the prison. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. Take in consideration 2020 CR 6409, night mag number 68664 and 674688. That's the county court cause number 674688. I'll ask for you to have the therapeutic community. You'll have to request that. That's to help you with any drug addictions that you may have. But if you don't request it, they're definitely not going to give it to you. And I can't make them give it to you. I'm going to do a no contact order with Xavier Vega until the expiration of $15 years. At that time, he'll be 21. He'll be able to hopefully make a decision on whether or not he wants to see you. So there'll be no contact with Xavier Vega. Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right. I wish you nothing but the best. Good luck to you.
The emotional weight of the courtroom reaches its peak when Fabian Vega takes the stand, begging for mercy. He speaks of wanting to get his GED, conquer his drug addiction, and finally be a father to his 6-year-old son. His wife had just testified that she forgave him and hoped for their family to reunite. But Judge Stephanie Boyd sees through the performance. With surgical precision, she dismantles his last-minute awakening. Why does it take you going to prison for you to wake up and realize what's right from wrong? She demands. She pulls up his juvenile record stretching back to 2013, graffiti, evading arrest, possession, a pattern of consequences ignored and opportunities wasted. She reminds him he's had chances in the juvenile system to get his education and turn his life around. Yet here he stands, convicted of murder. The prosecution had already exposed the brutality of the crime. Vega shot 3 people that day, killing 1, and was firing into a park where innocent people were present. His self-defense claim evaporated under questioning. His own roommate was prepared to testify against him. Judge Boyd accepts the 25-year plea agreement, but she's not finished. She looks at the man begging to be a father and delivers the most devastating blow of all, a no-contact order with his son for 15 years. The child, now 6, will be 21 before he can decide if he wants a relationship with the father who was never there. There's someone here who's dead, Boyd reminds him coldly. They're not going to graduate. They're not going to see any grandchildren. In one ruling, she destroys his fantasy of redemption and places the power where it belongs, with the innocent child caught in the middle.